this video, we're going to cover the case tree. And the case tree, specifically, we're going to talk about cases within the case tree. We're going to talk about how to move reports around in the case tree. We're going to talk about how to move SMS reports within the case tree. We're also going to talk about how to create a case, how to rename a case, how to delete a case from the case tree. And we're going to go ahead and start with this drug case down here. Now, this drug case that I have in here, I'm going to go ahead and select that. And you'll notice that there is a single phone and a single case folder. Now, I might be working on this case and I might want to add some more information into this a little bit later on. But right now, this case really isn't useful to me and I don't need this in my display. I really would like to keep my standalone reports and my manual case, but I really don't need this drug case anymore. So one way I can get rid of this drug case is if I don't need any of these reports, I can simply get rid of all of the reports in here by deleting the reports. And once I delete that report, now I no longer have anything in the drug case. I can now right click and I can delete this group, or I could rename this group. So if I wanted to create a different group name, if I want to do a quick entry and change the name, I could do that. Or I can just simply delete this group if I don't need this group anymore, or this case in my system anymore, and say I'm working on something else. So I'm going to go ahead and delete. Now, once I delete, it's going to come up and say, are you sure you wish to delete this group? Because this group has been a part of my system. It doesn't want me to just accidentally or arbitrarily just delete things. So I have to click a second yes option to delete the group. Now you'll notice that group is no longer part of my case tree. I still have my standalone reports, still have my manual case, but I no longer have that drug case inside of my system. So now what I would like to do is I'd like to add a case. So I've been working on my standalone reports. I've brought in some cases and I've identified what it is I now want to investigate. And I'm going to open a case, a specific case on a group of people. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my Kanga gang. So this is my Kanga gang. And this is a case that I'm working on. Okay, so now you notice that when I did that, I made a mistake. I created it with the wrong name, and it's spelled incorrectly, or just not what I want to call it. To rename that, again, remember, all we have to do is right-click on the case, right-click on the report within the case, or click on the case, rename the group, and I'm going to make my corrections here. And now I have my cancel option, and I have my enter option, or my this is okay by clicking my green check block here, and that means I accept or I like what I've done. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and now my Kanga gang has been created. If you've ever taken any training with HTCI, you'll know the significance of the Kanga case. Some of you are probably chuckling to yourselves right now. All right, so under the Kanga gang, I'm going to add in a new report. And to do that, I simply have to click on the add report. And I'm going to go to my XML files, which is load report, or I could bring it in by manually entering a case, which would allow me to enter a phone report manually. Or I can go to an empty device, which would be my load device option. Okay, and this will allow me to add in things such as pictures and report information and other detailed information about a specific phone that I have in my possession. So this allows me to enter in something that I physically have control of. So I'm going to choose the XML file, and then I'm going to click select. And when I click select, it's going to go out looking for XML. And I have on my passport, my external drive, I have an LG phone that I brought in. So I'm going to go to my LG phone, my root of my LG phone. You'll see that there's an XML document there. And I'm going to go ahead and select that XML document. And I'm going to select continue. Now, when I selected continue, you saw that I had a green check block here. And that green check block meant that I had a legitimate case report. And when I clicked on the continue, it brought in the case report. We're going to go through how to import cases or import reports into cases, and we're going to go through a much more detailed review of the load device and load report in other videos. I'm going to give this report a name here. I'm going to call it the LG track phone report. I'm going to select apply. And once I do that, now my phone will appear on the left-hand side. So once I imported that in, now inside of my Kanga report, I now have my LG track phone device. Now I want to add my SIM card because I also have a SIM card here. So I'm going to click on Add SIM card, and I'm going to select my XML. I'm going to go ahead and click to select. I'm going to go to my SIM card folder. I'm going to choose my SMS or the SIM card or the SIM that I wanted to bring in. Click open. And notice that it didn't open correctly. This time I got my red check block. Now what the red check block means is that it's not formatted correctly. So that report I can't bring in. It won't let me bring it in until I correct that format. So I'll have to go out and figure out why it wouldn't bring that in. But I wanted to show you what would happen if I had an invalid set of records. And this is what will happen. I'll get my red X. The continue button will not be there, so I can't bring it in. So I'm gonna have to fix that that XML record before I can bring it in. All right, but in the case tree, I still have my report in here, and I have my Kanga Gang, and I have my LG track phone. Now, if I want to add some other reports to my Kanga Gang, let's say that I know that the Blue Dash Junior and its related SIM card are part of this case, I can add those reports directly to my Kanga Gang very, very simply. To do that, all I have to do is grab the Blue Dash Junior, drag it down on top of my Kanga Gang case report, and drop. And notice that my Blue Dash Junior has now moved down. But what did not move down was the SIM card associated to that. Now my SIM card is sitting up here as an independent. Notice that it moved out to the left and is now an independent report. So I can have SIM cards in there as independent reports. So I now have a Blue Dash Junior here, but I don't have the associated SIM card. I'm going to go ahead and grab this again, and I'm going to drag this down. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the SIM card, and I'm going to highlight the Blue Dash Junior. When I drop it, it's going to put the SIM card on the Blue Dash Junior down here. Now, I made a mistake earlier on when I was bringing in reports, and I brought the Blue Dash Junior in twice. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this report up here. And again, I'm deleting this because I've noticed that I have it twice. Now, once I remove the top report, notice that time it took the SIM card with it. So if you delete a report from the higher level, it will take everything that is subsequent underneath it. If you take out just the bottom level, it will only take out the SIM card that is directly below it, or the artifact which is directly below it. So now in my Kanga Gang report, I have my Pantech P2020, I have a Blue Dash Junior, and I have an LG track phone. And the Pantech P2020 came from the top. Again, I dragged it down. I drag this down. And now I've got that there. I'm now going to drag my Motorola down. And I'm going to drag my Motorola SIM card. And now notice I've moved all of my reports that were in the standalone. I've now put them into this one case report of this one container below. Okay. Now, if I wanted to move those into another case, or let's say I wanted to create a subset case of this, I could create a new report. So I'm going to add group, and I'm going to add in Marines. I'm going to click OK to add this group. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my Marines report down, and I'm going to move the SIM card that goes with the Marine report down into that report. So what I've been able to do is I've been able to move SIM cards. I've been able to move reports. I've been able to create a case report by simply clicking on different items and options inside of my reports here. So by clicking on my Marines report, by clicking on my Kanga Gang report, I can see all of the cases that are inside of my my case here, and I can move reports up and down and within those case reports. So the case tree allows me access or allows me control of my case or of my reports that I brought into my different cases. And it gives me a way of looking at all of my cases. The other option that is kind of unique about my cases here, if I'm doing some type of verification or validation, I can click on my Kanga report and it will show all of the reports associated to that report on the right-hand side here. Now, in my detail screen of the case itself, you'll notice on the right-hand side here, I have little flags that have shown up. If I have watch list entries, and we'll talk about watch list entries in another video specifically, but if I have watch list entries, those watch list entries will show up in the case in the detail screen on the right-hand side here. So now what I have is I have my watch list for a specific set of data that I'm looking for, and this one happens to be this phone number here, 4989, and it says this is the message, and the reason I'm looking for this, it says watch list explanation, hold for USC or USMCCID. So this was put in by a group that was looking for this individual or this specific value, and the case tree in the case itself shows those watch list hits for each one of the reports. So if I was to click on my Marines down here, notice that my one report down here also has a watch list hit. Okay, so I'm able to show watch list hits with or throughout my cases very quickly by selecting the case and showing all of the sub reports that go to that or go to that case. If there was no watch list hit, then this flag would not appear, or if I had given it a different color, then the flag would appear to the color that I had chosen. Again, we'll go through watch lists and how to set up watch lists and all that in another video. So again, this is the case tree. This is our detail screen for our case tree. And in another video, I will talk about how we can use our case tree to show or do a validation of our tools. And validation of tools is very important, and you will use this menu specifically to show that your tools are working correctly and allow you to do a quarterly verification or validation of your tool sets, which can be very important to you if you're going to court or you have to use this for testimony.